So I'm quite happy with them too as the colours and things. So now I guess the thing is to clean it up. So I think now is probably the spot healing one more now. So we'll try and tackle these big rips. Just the big things, isn't it? Because there is different coloured things changing in the brickwork, but there's no point doing it until you've got this cleaned up. So I'll start with the little one because it's simpler, and then you can do it. So the spot healing brush, this one. So not the healing brush, but the spot. It's then gonna change the colour based on what's next to it. So what actually is worth saying up here, where it says type, there's content aware, great texture and proximity match. So I use content aware. So what it almost does is copy the content around it. So sometimes it might move. So you just cover it and it's going to copy it. That's not always right, but you have to keep going over it. If you do like proximity, it goes weird. Or texture, it tries to copy the texture and it's a grainy picture. So they might work for other things, but for like photo restoration, content aware is the one you want. If you just cover an area there, it's like it wasn't there, and then you cover an area there. And when it's brick, there's a bit of a rip you can still see, but because it's brickwork, it just looks like the cement, so you can really leave that. So if we're doing this, I'll start off at the brickwork still actually. If you zoom right in, so you can focus on a bit at a time. I might change this, but I'll start with it now. See what happens. So that's a bit much, so I think that's maybe because it's big. So I get a little bit smaller. You just cover a little bit at a time. You could do the whole one, but the problem with that is it goes a bit funny. If you do it a bit at a time, then it's better at detecting what's around that area. With bricks, always make sure you do the cement separately as a line, because otherwise it will just fuse together. If you want to do a bigger area, you just colour in more. And if the colour seems a bit off, you can just keep playing with it until it gets to the area that you like. Again, just like a brick at a time or half a brick, depending on how big it is. And the line for the cement there, line for the cement there. Yeah, and I'm going to cover a little, like a brick at a time. And just maybe, no, that's a bit much. So if you don't like it, then you just undo it. Line for cement, on the brick. Line for cement. So that brick looks like it's not square, but actually it's because I think it just isn't square. So then you have to make sure it stays accurate, the shape. So that should be cementy area. We'll see that. You see there, this bit it's actually coloured in the colour of the brick. So sometimes you can, sometimes you can do it again and it's all right. Sometimes you might have to colour it in yourself. But that's why it's always like when you do it, make sure you're like looking at it and you're aware that it's changing the wrong colour in case it is. Because it's doing it based on the information you give it, you know.
Yeah.
Again here. That's taken the cement colour into the brick, so we'll try that again. We got, oh, that was my fault. This one's taking the brick again. See that? Not done great, so I might then paint over that. You're better to do it straight away because otherwise it's just like impossible to find it again. So you can then just do that. But because you've taken the rip out, it's just a case of putting one colour on top of the other, so it's better. Rather than painting over the crack when it's a complete different colour. So then back to the spot healing. Now this is obviously in one section, but it's quite long, so you're better to do it a bit at a time. because the colour will change as you go down. So you're better to try and match the time. I'll make it a bit bigger here actually because it's not that much bigger. Right. Which is obviously a lot, so this, whether it will match or not, I don't know. That hasn't matched that well. Actually, it's not bad. So if we zoom out, hopefully. Now you can still see where it was, right? It's better, but you can still see where it was. So you've then got to kind of go back through it and look at it. Weird change of colour in that area. So you'd almost have to keep playing with it. So it might just be if you see like a pixelated bit where it was, you can just flick bits to try and bring it together. The other thing is that if there's a big crack, then I think it doesn't always to take those areas when you're kind of boosting it. So you have to be aware of that. But you almost need to go up and down to fuse the colours together rather. So you've done the bit where you've taken the crack out. Yeah. So what, there is a bit of blue there that you can see. Just when you zoom in, you notice it more really. So what you want to do is get the same colour as this. So if you can pick out a bit here and you can keep playing until you find, like that looks quite grey blue, so you don't want that. Something like that that's a bit warmer, or you don't want too dark, like maybe there. That's quite nice. There, and then you can just start to do that.
Again, with the brush tool.
Yeah, with the brush, and it's the same thing of changing the opacity to get it right, because you don't want it too dark either, because then it will look fake. But if you do a little bit, then it's that subtle change. So if I do a section, I can then zoom out and see whether it's better. So it's a little bit, if you compare it to the existing blue area. What you also do then is to join it up with another section, so there's a continuity. It's about trying to fix it up so that it's how it should be, but then obviously you're almost creating the colour as well, so you have to make sure that it still feels accurate, which is why it's good to select colours from other areas and then join them up at the end. Again, there's a bit of a thing here where it's gone discoloured, so there what I might do is up the opacity up here and then just fill that in so that again you're going to have less of a rip. Something like that. That's a bit much. Right, so that's looking a bit better. So we'll now have a look. You can play with that forever and ever, so we'll have a look at then cleaning up the dirt. So again, this is another one you have to be careful not to take things out that should be there, but like you can see discrepancies in it. So immediately there's this white dot, which where's that come from? So you need to take that out. So it's about because it's a dot, then you can try and get it to be the same size as the dot. And we're on the spot healing brush. See there, it came up there, you see, because I clicked on the wrong one. It's easy to click on the healing. You want the spot healing because it's for a spot. So you click on that, you cover up the dot, and then it should do it so that it's gone. So what you're then looking for is you're just scrolling through the image zoomed in, and is there anything that doesn't look right? So that's a bit of a weird thing, so I can take that out. Some of these you can go overboard, but you've got to be careful just to do it where it's really, like these are a bit, shouldn't really be there, so we'll take them out. And it just cleans the image up basically. Have a look. So these two are quite a clean image, but when you have a look, there's all sorts of things. So immediately there's a line there, which I'm pretty sure is a scratch in the image. So you can then start to clean that. Again, it's better to do it a bit at a time, like with the bricks, and then blend it in. And again, there's a scratch here, so you've just got to find them. Again, there are lots of white bits here, but I think that's more part of the plant, so we'll keep that in. And then you can see that if you look, there's just lots of white dots. So sometimes they're sort of black dots, sometimes they're white things, but you often have that from the old photos from over the years. So you want to get them out.
And then if you didn't have the healing tool, you would simply take the colour, wouldn't you, with the pipette and paint it yourself, wouldn't you?
Yeah, so you could use the eyedropper, and you could, so we'll do that on this one here. It's harder to get accurate because there's so many colours, so it's quite nice if you can go to where it's more pixelated then, and almost pick a colour from a pixel around it. So say I get this one. And sometimes it takes a few attempts, so you can do it, make it nice and small, but also the opacity will be high because you're covering white. So you won't want it 100 because it looks silly, but if you do it to maybe, let's say we start in the 80s and see, you can then do it like that, which also covers it. But obviously there it's a bit of a dot, so then what you might want to do is you cover maybe the half near the bit that you selected, like that, and then you'll select another pixel from here, so it merges better. And then you'll maybe then select another one from up here, maybe a bit like that there. Bring it back down like that. And when you zoom out. So obviously, and it's that small that you can't really see it. When you zoom in, you can see it a bit more. So yeah, you then just keep finding these bits and cleaning them up.
What would you do if you had a big sky and there was dirt in the big sky? What would you do then?
Again, you'd be better. It depends on what it is. If it's sort of dots, it would be the same process. Sometimes you get like a big sort of grainy black bit. So then you might want to try doing it as one big. So obviously, I'll do this afterwards, but you'd want to maybe make it big and do that, and then it would change it. Obviously, this is going to go weird now. So you could try that, or you could try it as dots. It all depends on the image, really, of how you do that.
Would you ever repaint the sky if that was the easiest thing to do?
You could do, yeah. You could, if it was, again, it depends on the colour. Often the sky ends up as white in these kind of images, so then it's quite easy. You could select it with the eyedropper, this one again, and then colour it the same. If it's like a blue colour, you could try that. Sometimes I add like a very pale blue to the sky to adjust it. So it's very much a thing where you have to just try it out and look at it. But yeah, you could paint it, or you could do various ways of it, really.